Welcome once more, dear friends, to my channel. This is 𝐒𝐮𝐩𝐩𝐸 from 𝐼𝐸volution Company. In this tutorial, we are going to be talking about HTML forms, and this will be part 1 of this series. Before we get started, if you have not yet subscribed to this channel, make sure you hit the subscribe button below. In HTML, in order to create a form, we make use of the form tag, where we have an opening and a closing form tag. In some cases, in the form tag, we include an action attribute, which is used to specify the URL or path the form should submit the request to. For the most common form input types, we have the text input type, the number input type, the email input type, the file input type, the submit input type, the checkbox input type, just to name a few. Concerning form submissions, we have our two common HTTP methods. We have the post method, which is used to send our data to a server, and the get method, which is used to retrieve our data from the server. So with this, we are going to do some implementation of some of the most common form input types so that you can see how we can create basic forms. So to do that, I'm going to be using Visual Studio Code. I am actually in Visual Studio Code, where I have created a folder for this tutorial, and I have created a template HTML file, this code. So if you need this template, make sure you subscribe and you drop your email. So we are going to be creating our forms and implementing some of its input type at the level of the main. You see that in this template, we add the content at the level of the main tag. So to do that, we are going to start by creating or using the form HTML tag. At this point, we are going to neglect the attribute action and the form methods, because the purpose of this is just to show you how to implement different forms of input types. So yeah, we are going to create a basic forms where we'll need a username, a user email, a user password, and password confirmation, and then a submission button. So to do that, we are going to start with input, and then we type So here we have implemented 4 different types of input type: text, email, password, and submit. So if I save this, and let's check how it looks on the browser, see that we just have boxes. So we are going to get back here and adjust that. So we are going to add labels. at this point, we have added labels to our input. So let's check how it looks like. So you can see that our forms doesn't look uh, look good. So we are going to adjust that. To do that, we are simply going to add line breaks. Yeah, I'm going to add two line breaks. So you can see now that our forms is looking much more attractive and presentable. So yeah, I have shown you how to implement the text input type, the email input type, the password input type, and the submit input type. We equally have other input types like uh, the file input type. Let's assume we want to add the file input type. So you see we have added a file input type, and you can see how it looks like. So this is our form. So we are going to now experiment with other input types like checkboxes. So let's assume that we want to add checkboxes to this form. I'm going to come back here. Let's add more checkboxes so that you see how it looks like. Last one. We have added four checkboxes, so let's save and check how the form looks like. Okay, so you can see my four checkboxes. And you have to note that for the checkboxes, apart from the name attribute, we equally need or you equally have to add the value attribute. So to make our checkbox looks good, we are going to label them. Let's change this, make it much more easier. So that we should be able to use the name for labeling. Okay, so we have label for Apple. So you have to note here that for the checkboxes, the label comes below the input input tab. And then for Apple now. Okay. So now you have added the labels. Let's save and check our form. Okay. So now our form is having labels, but it's a problem because the password text is no more. So we are going to adjust that. Let me add some line break. Pick. Let's see. I think this should fix our form. Okay. So you can see that we have added checkboxes to our form. The next input type we are going to talk about is the number input type. So we are going to come here. Let's assume that after the email or before the email, you have to, or after the email, you have to enter your phone number. We are going to implement the phone number input type so that you will see how it shows on the form. So to do that, let's add the label. So you can see that here we have added the phone number box. Let's go back here and adjust. Need to add a line break here. Okay, so we have implemented the input type for phone numbers. Then what if we want to allow the user to add some form of numbers or to add numbers? So to do that, we are going to get back here. Label. So you can see, okay. Mm. So we are left with two other input types to implement. So following is the text area input type that we are going to implement. So this is better forms look at this point in time. To implement a text area, this is what we are to do, because in most form you will want the user to be able to drop a message, or to send, to write and send a message. So in order to do that, you will have to create a text area. So to create a text area, we sorry. With a text area, you have to specify obviously the name attribute and then the number of rows that you want. Let's see. So see, doesn't look good. It's really empty. Okay. So here I have shown you how to add a text box where you can write and drop a message. Next, we are going to talk about how to add radio buttons. Let's just do that under this. So yeah, I have added two radio boxes. So let's check what it is. So you can see my radio boxes here. Make it better. Let me add the label. Let's see. So you can see our radio buttons. So yeah, the last thing to talk about is how to create a drop-down list. In order to add a drop-down list, we are going to use select. I'm going to adjust to options. You can see my drop-down list here. Wait, okay. You can see my drop-down list. So in this tutorial, I have shown you how to implement all the most common HTML input type in a form. So I have shown you how to create a form and implement its various input type, at least the most common form input type. So remember, if you haven't yet subscribed to this channel, make sure you hit the subscribe button below to support us. Thanks once more for watching this video, and we meet in part 2.